On the 27th of September at Bodyweight Sports organized the Dutch National Championships 2025. 20 athletes battled toe to toe to become either the combination, static, power, or dynamics champion of the Netherlands. So 4 different champions, which is a concept I like. My friend Niels de Vogel was one of the 20 athletes, and I invited him to my house to have some breakfast together, travel together, and get into the mindset of participating in this tournament. Now, this event is in Hees. This is somewhere in Brabant, and I was not familiar at all. I knew it was around 2 hours of traveling, but when I started cooking, so I made some entrecote for us. I asked Niels to look up the route again just to be sure. And we found out that we had to leave within like 10 minutes, so it was quite chaotic. So I quickly finished the entrecote. I made some eggs. I put everything in plastic baskets. And then I took 4 bananas and we quickly packed our bag and we ran over to the train. So not the most relaxed start of the day, but we did had entrecote in the train, so that made everything all right. So we enjoyed our breakfast, we enjoyed the scenery of what the travel had to offer, and we talked about the championship, and shortly after we arrived at the first train station. From here we needed to pick up a bus after we got a quick coffee in, and from here on out the route would be quite interesting as we ended up in this giant field on a dirt path with a farm to the left of us, and to the right this field what I'm talking about, and also this giant forest at the back. And we were not quite sure if this was the actual route. We did took the route and it was quite relaxing honestly, but it was kind of strange because we expected to just arrive with a bus on some terrain and then just walk through regular streets, but instead of that, like I said, I saw a donkey, sheep, everything. So after a short 30-minute walk, we arrived at the championships, and first of all we took everything in. We inspected the stage, we introduced ourselves to the athletes, so we got guided towards the warm-up room. I was able to go in with Niels. They were very respectful to me, and I was allowed to have like the access technically only the athletes should have, but I was there for Niels and I helped him with his warm-up and just getting into that mental sphere of, yeah, doing this tournament. The audience was quite big, I believe over 300 people, so Niels was kind of like, what is happening right now? And I was like, chill down. So we got Niels into the mental frame of we're just doing sets, whether there are 5,000 people watching us or it's just a regular Sunday, we are doing the sets we want to do. We talked about the game plan, he didn't stick to the game plan, but it's all right. The main goal for Niels was to just be there, enjoy the moment, and see what this Dutch championship is all about. The judges for this event was Tony Geest, Son Gohan, Small Spartan J, and also Roman, which I was not familiar with, but is this crazy dynamic athlete and also very strong and powerful. These were very experienced guys, and so they would make out to be a good jury. Now they used the judging system, which in my opinion is still not the best, but it definitely did not influence the winners of the championship, so that was very good. The number 1 this year was actually the number 1, so although the judging system is not really clear or understandable or logical in any way, the end results were, so that's good. The athletes were given 3 1-minute rounds, and at the end of a round you would have to walk in front of the judge and they would show you this stopping light signal, so either red, orange or green, to like give you an idea of how you scored. But behind the screens they were like counting, and the scores were like far away from each other. One athlete even got like negative points, like at the end of 3 rounds. So I almost find that disrespectful, because although his performance, yes, it wasn't like the greatest compared to other athletes, but to end up with negative points is just straight up ridiculous, because he did perform, he did do tricks, he did show strength, so negative is crazy. So Kian ended up with the most points in the 3 rounds, so that made him a finalist. And yeah, because he didn't have any fails, your score, like, I'm not going to say multiplied, but you don't get any negative points. So if you have barely any fails or 0 fails, you would end up with an automatically higher score, which is also like, that's good, but like having one fail and then just completely erupting the score is, I don't know. Last time I spoke about this subject, things got a little bit heated, so I'm not going to talk about it very much anymore. But anyway, I do still hope to see some sort of change when it comes to the counting system, the organizing of what gets how many points, and just an overall more clear view of, okay, if I do this, I get this many points. So it would be more of a preparation thing, knowing, all right, I want to score around 150 points, for example, instead of hopefully I get as many points as possible. Now, if you were the strongest, the best in dynamics, you of course would have won. So even though the scoring system doesn't really adjust the number one guy, because he was the number one guy, like, for the athletes personally, I think it would be good if they get a more understanding about the pointing system. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Let's just move on. Now, the rounds were absolutely crazy, okay? It was awesome to see, and the athletes performed all 20. All 20 performed actually pretty well. And it was cool to see. The energy was so high. It was so much dopamine flowing around. Everyone was feeling it. So the event was simply amazing. Everyone screaming, everyone applauding the athletes, cheering for them. It was good. It was very good. Round 2 was where the athletes found a little either more difficult or a little more ease with the round. So that was kind of like a switching gear. So some athletes did actually way better than their first round, and some athletes performed a little less than the first round. So that was quite interesting to see. Round 3 was getting intense, and I was pretty intrigued of who's going to win this, who's going to prolong onto the finals, because in all honesty, I saw some of the scores with the red stoplight, with the orange, with the green, and I was quite confused of, okay, what's exactly happening. Then I was kind of confused of, are there going to be 5 finalists or 3? There were 3 finalists, and when the third round was done, I did get an idea, but it was like, who was going to win this? So after the 3 intense rounds, the judges started their count, and the 3 finalists were Angelo, Kian, and JD. Now the finals had a crazy format, and it was awesome. Okay, so each athlete got, I'm pretty sure, 45 seconds, but it might have been 30, I'm not sure anymore. And they would go back to back to back. So that would be round 1 of the final. And then the selection would be a bit changed. So if you start first, you will be starting second in the second round, or you might be third. And pretty much after 30 seconds already, the second round would start. And go on. Then a small break. And then again, the third round to end the final. So you would have been doing 30 seconds or maybe 45 seconds. I forgot. I'm sorry. Almost back to back to back. You had like 1, maybe 2 minutes of rest in between. And for any experienced athletes, you know how enduring it is to do crazy combinations back to back to back. So that was quite amazing to see. Much respect to all 3 finalists, because you did amazing. Some fails here and there. It happens, okay? It happens. Anyway, the final was epic, but there could be only one overall combination champion, and that would be JD Bone. JD Bone is the number 1 in the Netherlands combination athlete right now, and I want to congratulate him. He had an absolutely crazy performance. He did some stupid stuff. He did a front flip regrab, which I'd never seen before in the Netherlands, so that was quite shocking actually. Crazy front lever, good planche, crazy dynamics, which I cannot name. He deserved to be the combination champion. Shaki, even though he did not place in the final, became the static champion, which was also quite deserved, to be honest. Then you had Lars, who was the power champion. I am a bit confused about the power segment, but Lars showed some crazy power, so definitely deserved that one. And then you also had the dynamic champion Luke for making 4 champions in total. So congrats to every champion. Also congratulations to some like special move champion, so you would get a trophy, and I'm pretty sure they handed out like 7 trophies. So that was really good for the atmosphere, you know, just reaching out, you get one, you get one, you get one, and they were all deserved. So that was such a cool concept. Instead of just having 1 trophy, 19 athletes leaving empty-handed, you had 7 trophies, I believe, and they also all got goodie bags. So the organization, like in total, was very well done of bodyweight sports, and it was just an awesome event. There were fun challenges in between rounds. You could get to communicate with the athletes, with the jury. Yeah, like I said, the atmosphere was good. It was very good, and I'm excited to see next year. And I'm also excited to see this sport develop in general with the skill gap, because right now the Netherlands is a little bit behind of the other countries, but this year did make up for it, as we are seeing enormous progress in the Dutch community, and I'm all here for it. So that was the Dutch Championship 2025. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye, cheers, ciao.